conditions were looking pretty good in Carmel, so we went over to South Monastery Beach. And here we are suiting up. This is Kevin and Amelie and Paul, and we're going to go for a dive right here. We got in and we found that there's all these little snails. They're tegula, and a lot of them are snails, and some of them are hermit crabs too, but they're super abundant right here in the kelp forest. And the kelp forest looks pretty good. Here's a small plant. Just starting to give it a shot, and there's other kelp there on top of the rocks. And kelp seems to be on top of the rocks, but the spots in between, there's not that much kelp there. Just mostly on these large rocks. And then here's Paul. We're cruising around. Now we're outside the kelp in the urchin barren. There's a little grass there being eaten by urchins. There's a little canary. He's gonna hide in a little hidey hole. And just, this used to be a really beautiful place here. It was just full of kelp and everything, this deep boulder field. But now it's just urchin dominant. There's urchins everywhere. Here's a sea lion checking us out. Yeah, not much to see here. Keeps going. Yeah. The urchins are eating a single strand of kelp right here and just covering it. You can't even see the kelp hardly. And here's this large school of rockfish, blue rockfish. There's an olive there. Here's a vermilion. You know, these olives, they like self-identify as blue for some reason. But I've been debating this situation where these rockfish eat urchins. They eat snails, and they protect the kelp. And then Paul points out to me that, hey, there's a lingcod sitting right there on the rock. So I'm looking at him and, you know, trying to get a good look at him. You know, you come out of his hole to see what we're up to. This is a state marine reserve, so he's really not afraid of us in this place. Yeah, they're fish predators for sure. They eat little rockfish and snails and urchins. So I just don't know whether it's worth the trouble and the confrontation that I'm bound to get with fishermen over protecting lingcod and rockfish in these places. I don't know. There's a lot of rockfish here, and they're just hanging out over the rocks. And hey, hello. Yeah, well, I guess we need to protect lingcod. You know, when nature tells you the answer to your question, you listen, right? That's a little moment right there. All right, goodbye. See you later. Okay, anyway, bye.